Kaiser. Welcome to the Purple Couch. Today we'll be interviewing our amazing director, Mr. Jewel. Let's check it out. Hi, Mr. Jewel. Welcome to the Purple Couch.
Hi, Aiden. Thank you for inviting me to my own purple couch.
I think it's mine.
Yeah, well, I guess you can have it. That's okay. I'll let you have it.
So, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to.
Why are you so excited? What's
Because
happening?
tomorrow I have
That's exactly right. And then one of our last ones before we're up on the stage. So, yeah, it's exciting. Yeah.
Today.
So, what are we doing today?
Today we will be asking questions
Okay.
for the audience and maybe some personal ones too.
Okay, great. Sounds good. Sounds good. You want to ask me my first one?
So my first question would be, how did All Star start?
So, very randomly, I wanted to do a production of a play called Spring Awakening, which was a musical. It was very popular when I was in grad school. And I asked a couple of theater companies that were local at the time, including some of the schools that had functioning theater programs, and everybody turned me down because of the content of the show. Because the content was like a little bit risque, it was like a little bit above what some audiences would have like deemed as like cool or like cool with them. So I was driving back from like a random beach trip that we had and I was like, why don't we just create our own theater company? And we can create our show, I can finish my master's thesis, and then we can move to New York City and do theater over there, because that was always like my big picture dream, was that we were gonna move to New York and I was gonna like work professionally. So we did our first show, which was Spring Awakening. And at the end of that show, I owed people money. It was a lot of money to put on a show that I was not prepared to do. And then I was like, I'm never gonna do this again. This is not gonna be like anything that I want to continue doing. But the next year, one of the cast members of the show called me up and was like, so what show are we gonna do this year? And I was like, okay, fine, we'll do another show. So that year we did Chicago, and that was a better format. We did it with more vision. So when we did Chicago, there was more organization and more vision, and it actually executed a lot better. So I'm excited for that, and it kind of just like spiraled from there. So it was a little bit different in that respect, and it actually ended up laying the foundation for exactly what we do today. Because now what we do is we work with kids predominantly, more so than adults. Those shows were more centric around adults, which made it a little bit different.
So you mentioned this was our 10th anniversary.
Yeah.
So how did you get from where you were to owing people money to having All Star Studios on 10th Street?
Yeah, so that was a lot of hard work and a long time coming. So when we started out, we were using spaces, borrowing spaces, renting out like other spaces, and then we kind of moved into having like a semi-permanent studio, which is where we met, and then we moved from there to now our current studio on 10th Street. But it took a lot to kind of get us there. It took a lot of work, a lot of luck. We were very fortunate to have opportunities, and that was like one of our goals. So when we thought about that year, the year that we did The Lion King moving into The Little Mermaid, we were like, okay, so what are some like big goals? Because we had already kind of been functioning the same way. And so we thought, like, when we were doing The Wizard of Oz and The Lion King specifically, we were like, okay, this is great. I loved working at PSJ Southwest. They were excellent. But then it was like, okay, so what are our big goals for the next year? And one of the big goals was to move to the McCown Performing Arts Center and to have your own facility, like to have our own facility. So it's kind of like something that I manifested and then worked hard to kind of like get through to. And then the other thing that we really wanted to do was move into the McCown Performing Arts Center. So that same year that we kind of set that goal to have our own space, we also set the goal to be able to perform at the McCown Performing Arts Center, and that, as you remember, is something that we got to do. So we've been performing at the McCown Performing Arts Center now for 4 years, which is another really like big deal. We're the only local theater company that is able to actually use that facility, and we're so fortunate to be able to do that. And that is something that we want to make sure is an opportunity for our students, because when those curtains open and you look out at that audience, it's a feel that you will never really be able to describe, because it just really takes a moment to like encapsulate how like magnanimous that is, right? We're very lucky to be able to get there and very fortunate.
Do you have any advice for people that might want to do what you do?
I would say remain committed. There are definitely times where you just get very like bogged down in the details, and you get very hard on yourself and very disheartened for sure, because you get a lot of no's in our business, which is performing arts in general. But also just like a lot of, it takes a lot more elbow grease to be able to get things done the way that you really need to get them done. I'm very fortunate that I have an excellent team that works with me to be able to ensure that everything gets done and we all have the same vision and we are all working towards the same goal, which I'm so grateful for. That's not something that I take for granted either, because that is something that we're very lucky to have. I mean, it's not easy to find people that are all at the same level as you and all have that same vision to work towards. And so we're very fortunate that we have a great team at the All-Star Kids Club.
So I like to end my Purple Couch episodes with a game called Aiden's Golden Board.
Okay, fun.
Bet you didn't know it did that. I sure didn't.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you a question and you answer.
Okay, let's see what it is.
What is a dream show to direct, choreograph, or star in?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I got to do my dream role, which was Roger/Gary in a production called Noise Is Off. So I've been very fortunate that I got to play my dream role. It's such a fun show to do. But I think if I had to choose a dream show to direct, I would say that someday I would like to direct a production of Hamilton. It just seems like so fun, and like I love the idea of utilizing movement, and I love the idea of telling story mostly through song, and so that's a challenge for a director especially. And so not linking the show together by scenes, but linking it by musical moments and songs is something that I would love to challenge myself to do. And so I have to say that I think I would love to someday direct a production of Hamilton, and maybe you'll get to do it.
Last one.
Okay.
Drum roll.
Drum roll.
What is a Broadway show you would like to see and why?
So I would have to say, because I've seen a lot of Broadway shows, right? I would love to see the original Company. So I'm going to take it back and say that I would like to go back to the 1970s and watch the original production of Company on Broadway. I love that production. I think it's such a brilliant show. It's laid out so very well. And I also have this thing for Elaine Stritch, and I don't know why. I don't know what it is about her. She's not really like the best singer, and she's not really like the best performer, but there's just something about her that like is appealing to me, and I would love to see her play the role Joanne in that production. So I have to say, go back to the 1970s, travel back in time, and see Company.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for answering all of my questions.
I know, I'm so glad that we got to do this on your purple couch.
Thank you for watching our first ever episode of The Purple Couch. We were so happy to have Mr. Jewel come in and answer all of our questions. Don't forget to like on Instagram and Facebook and share with a few friends, and also subscribe to our new YouTube channel.
Thanks, Aiden.
Bye.
Bye.